the drama just doesn't seem to fade. Hailey Bieber's latest interview didn't just make headlines, it reignited an online rivalry that people can't stop discussing. What once appeared to be a simple brand competition between Rode and Rare has now turned deeply personal, and Justin Bieber's silence is only adding more fuel to it. He isn't posting, defending, or appearing beside Hailey. Instead, he's staying quiet, almost detached while fans speak for him. In a world where attention is currency, his silence might be saying more than words ever could. He hasn't taken a public side, but many already believe they know where his loyalty lies. When Hailey sat down for that interview, it was supposed to be about her brand. But the moment the clips hit social media, everything erupted. You could see it in her expression, the tension, the effort to stay composed. When she talked about being original and not copying anyone, her tone didn't sound confident. It sounded defensive, like she was trying to distance herself from the constant comparisons to Selena Gomez. Within minutes, social media flooded with edits and comparisons. People posted side-by-side photos of Rode and Rare Beauty, highlighting similar packaging, colors, and even captions. It felt like déjà vu. And while Hailey kept smiling through the questions, her words revealed something else, an underlying attempt to prove herself, which only made people question her more. One viral comment summed it up. She says she's not copying Selena, but somehow ends up doing exactly that. That captured the online mood perfectly. People aren't believing in coincidences anymore. To them, every similarity feels deliberate. Her brand looks clean and well-designed, but her timing always seems to stir conversation. Another person commented that she should stop explaining herself and just focus on her work, because every new interview feels like damage control. And honestly, that point hit hard. The more she tries to clear things up, the more it sounds like she's apologizing for something she won't admit. People stopped talking about her products. Instead, they talked about the energy surrounding her, the quiet tension that always returns whenever Hailey and Selena's names appear together. No matter how much Hailey tries to move forward, the internet doesn't let her. They constantly remind her who she's compared to. I kept checking Justin's page, expecting something, a story, a post, or even a simple, "so proud of you." But there was nothing, just stillness. While clips of Hailey filled my feed, Justin's profile felt frozen in a different world. Basketball videos, time with friends, peaceful vibes, no mention of her anywhere. It didn't seem like a coincidence. It felt intentional, as if he was quietly distancing himself from the drama surrounding her. People noticed that too. Justin has defended Hailey before, sometimes immediately, even when others thought he shouldn't. But this time, he stayed silent, and that silence began to feel like a choice. He didn't post cryptic messages or throw shade. He simply said nothing. Yet that silence spoke louder than any statement could. Sometimes, silence says more than any caption. One fan wrote, "He looks so relaxed when she's not around." That comment spread quickly because it reflected what many were already thinking. Another person said, "He's not ignoring her. He's escaping her." Harsh, but it echoed a growing sentiment among fans. Then someone else added, "This silence isn't random, it's rebellion." That one stood out, because lately, Justin's quiet seems deliberate. He's not posting mysterious quotes or sending hidden messages. He's just living, playing basketball, skating, and spending time with old friends. He looks grounded again, like the pressure has finally lifted. His photos tell the story: no matching outfits with Hailey, no road promotions, no staged couple pictures, just him doing his thing. It feels like he's protecting his peace instead of managing someone else's image. There's something different about how he's moving now. It's not the usual cold or distant social media silence. This quiet feels calm, like he's finally breathing freely. He's not performing anymore. He's just existing. Fans have noticed the shift too. One person commented, "He finally looks like himself again. No filters, no PR smiles, just Justin." And honestly, that hit hard because it's true. There's a softness to him now that hasn't been there in a while. Another fan wrote, "This isn't distance, it's healing." And that might be the best way to describe it. His calm doesn't feel forced or rehearsed. It feels genuine, like after years of chaos. He's finally learned to live without proving anything. Hailey is still doing interviews, and the internet is still dissecting her every word. But Justin's reaction, or rather, his lack of one, has become the real story. Every post he doesn't make, every comment he doesn't leave, feels like a message in itself. Maybe he's tired of being the one who fixes things publicly. Maybe he's done letting his peace depend on someone else's drama. Watching him now feels like seeing someone step out of a storm and realize how quiet the world can be when you stop fighting the noise. The change isn't loud or dramatic. It's subtle, the kind of peace you don't notice at first, until you realize it's been missing for a long time. People are reading between the lines, as fans always do. But one thing is undeniable. Justin's silence feels intentional. He's not proving loyalty online or feeding the chaos. He's choosing peace, and that choice speaks louder than any posts ever could. Maybe that's what everyone needs to see, not a couple trying to convince the world they're happy, but a person quietly finding happiness on their own. For years, Justin has lived surrounded by headlines and noise, but lately, it seems he's learning how to exist beyond it. The internet turned quickly. What began as brand talk shifted into criticism, and the change was unmistakable. People stopped defending Hailey. They started breaking down her every word. Each moment from that interview was replayed like courtroom evidence used against her. The sympathy that once surrounded her disappeared, replaced with collective exhaustion. As I scrolled, I saw creators pointing out patterns: how her tone always carried subtle digs, how her timing always seemed too convenient. Even influencers who used to praise her brand began stepping back, not wanting to get dragged into the drama. This wasn't just backlash, it was burnout. The audience had seen this story too many times. It's wild how fast online love turns to irritation. One week, it's all support and sweet comments. The next, it's criticism and breakdown videos. That's time, no polished post could fix it. People weren't just observing Hailey anymore, they were judging her. Old interviews resurfaced, showing moments where her words and actions mirrored Selena's. Timelines filled with comparisons, repeated marketing ideas, and familiar phrases. The criticism didn't feel like random hate, it felt like disappointment. As if fans had finally reached their limit, what once felt like gossip now came across as a verdict. People were done with imitation and defensiveness. It wasn't about choosing between two women anymore. It was about seeing who had grown and who hadn't. And Hailey's silence only made it worse. When everyone else is talking and you stay quiet, people start creating their own version of your story. By the time things reached their peak online, the energy between Hailey and Justin felt off. No public appearances, no sweet posts, no signs of unity. It was as if the distance between them online had become real. Hailey kept promoting her brand, smiling for cameras, and attending events, but her energy looked tired. Justin, meanwhile, seemed disconnected, spotted at games, hanging out with friends, laughing like someone who had quietly walked away from the chaos. They weren't publicly fighting, but the silence between them was louder than any argument. Sources hinted their priorities had shifted. Hailey, focusing on her image, Justin on his peace, and it showed. Every new photo felt colder, less connected. They looked like two people sharing a home, not a life. It made me wonder if the constant pressure finally cracked something fragile, because when one person craves control and the other seeks calm, eventually they stop moving in the same direction. The perfect picture they once presented to the world started to fade, not dramatically, but slowly, like a mirror losing its shine. Two outsiders. Everything looked fine, but if you looked closely, you could feel the distance, the silence, the disconnection. It wasn't explosive drama or scandal, it was something colder, the kind of indifference that hides behind polite smiles and quiet posts. It's strange how silence can sometimes look like loyalty. Justin hasn't said a word about any of it, yet his actions speak for him. Everything he's doing feels deliberate, like he's embraced a peace that doesn't need to be explained. You can see it in the small details. His posts no longer revolve around fame or image. His smile looks real again. He's not trying to protect anyone's brand or prove the strength of his marriage. It's as if he's realized that peace doesn't need to be performed, it just needs to be felt. There's something poetic about that. The calm that once defined Selena now seems to have found its way into him. The stillness, the self-control, the refusal to feed the noise. Maybe it's coincidence, or maybe he learned something from the only person who ever showed him what peace truly means. Hailey's still out there fighting online battles, but Justin isn't joining anymore. He's watching from a distance, choosing not to add to the chaos. That distance doesn't feel cold, it feels like understanding. It's not rebellion, it's alignment, with calm, with growth, with maturity. Sometimes, real loyalty isn't standing beside the person making the most noise, it's standing by what feels right, even if that means staying quiet. Justin's silence no longer feels like retreat. It feels like a decision. He doesn't need to post quotes, subtweet anyone, or pick a side. His silence already says everything. Hailey's still explaining herself. Selena's still at peace. And Justin finally looks like he's choosing stillness over performance. It's not about revenge. It's about realization. About finally understanding that peace can't exist where noise never ends. And that quiet he's living in now, it doesn't sound empty. It sounds like freedom. So, what do you think? Did Justin finally stop performing and start living in peace?